All right, you've seen the video title, so let's just get started. To start it off, you need to make sure that you have everything you need. So number one is a motherboard that has a PCIe by 16 slot. Most modern motherboards have this, so you don't really have to worry about checking, but if you really want to make sure, you can just look up your motherboard's model name on the internet and it should tell you. Or you can just take a look at the motherboard, but I can't really show you right now. I will show you in a little bit, so just hang tight. You also need to make sure that your power supply has this cable right here. A lot of GPUs have 2 slots for these cables. This GPU obviously only has 1, but you need to make sure that your GPU has this cable. It's a 8-pin PCIe cable. Some power supplies only have a 6-pin. So yeah, you just need to make sure you have enough of these PCIe cables to support your GPU. Next on the list is just a Phillips head screwdriver. Because of standardization, they made it so that, you basically only need 1 screwdriver, and that's a Phillips head screwdriver, to build an entire computer. So I love standardization. One optional thing that you can have is an anti-static wrist strap like this. Make sure that it has a clip. If you bought one with that is quote-unquote wireless, then I'm sorry, but you just got scammed. The reason why I say this is optional is because during the building process, you can just make sure your case is grounded and touch a metal part every couple of minutes to make sure that you discharge any static. So, all right, let's get started. First step is just to turn off the computer like normal. So let me do that real quick. You can just hold down the power button, or you can turn it off in your operating system. Next up is just to go to the back of your computer and switch this little switch to the O position, which is off. And optionally, you can remove the power cable here. But if you're using an anti-static wrist strap, or you want to ground the computer to discharge any static electricity from your body every couple of minutes, then I would suggest that you keep this in to keep your computer grounded. You also want to remove all of your peripheral cables from the computer, so go ahead and do that. Just to make sure that all of the power is gone from your computer, you can press the power button a couple of times. It might light up and then turn off. That's a good sign, because that means that there was residual power and you just got rid of it if it doesn't light up anymore. And if you're using an anti-static wrist strap, now is the time to connect this clip to any metal part of your computer. I recommend the back. There's a lot of protruding metal parts. And now we're ready to open up the case. So for my case, I just have this little protuberance on the side of my case that I just pull on and it easily comes out. But most cases, they have 2 or 1 thumb screw, or just a normal Phillips head screw that you just have to take out to get the case off, or to get the side panel off. Now that you have the side panel off, you want to make sure that you keep those screws that you took out. And as you can see, I already have a GPU installed. That's because I'm going to show how to uninstall the GPU in case anyone is watching this video to upgrade to their graphics card. If you just want to learn about how to install a GPU and not how to uninstall it, just skip ahead to when this GPU is fully out. First step to removing this GPU is just to find this cable and look for this little clip. There might be multiple of these, so just find the clip and just press down on it and pull out. It's a little hard to do with one hand, but there you go. Now you have it out. You might need to do that multiple times if you have multiple slots. Now we need to remove the bracket that's holding in this GPU. A lot of cases have the screws accessible on the interior. However, for my case, I actually need to remove this little bracket here, and then I can take it out. So let me just do that real quick. Now that I have taken this little bracket out, as you can see, I can access these screws that is holding the GPU to the case, and just simply unscrew them and take them out. I'll skip until I've done that. Now that those screws are out, we're almost ready to take the graphics card out. Next step is just to take a look at the top of this GPU here, all the way in the back. You can see kind of a little bit the slot that the GPU is plugged into. All you want to do is look at the right here. There's a little retention bracket. It might be a little hard to see. There's a little retention bracket, or clip, I mean, here that you just need to push back. And as you can see, or as you can hear, it made a little click. Let's see if you can hear it again. Never mind, it's already all the way back. So yeah, just just push that clip back and your GPU should be easily removable. Now you have an open and clear PCIe by 16 slot. This is what it looks like. In case you skipped past the uninstallation part, this is what a PCIe by 16 slot looks like. Next step is simply to remove these brackets on the left side. I've already removed it because I had a GPU installed, but the amount that you need to remove is dependent on the width of your GPU. So a lot of graphics cards are just 2 dual slot wide. Some are 3 slots wide. So in that case, you would need to remove this third bracket here. So yep, once you have those removed, you can move on to the next step, which is simply pushing this little retention bracket or retention clip back all the way if you haven't already. And now you are ready to plug your GPU in. So all you have to do is make sure that the PCIe slot is aligned up. You see that this little slit in the PCIe connector. You just want to line that up with the slot right here on your motherboard, and you want to make sure that this metal clip or this little metal protuberance goes right into the slit in between your case and your motherboard right here. So let me just do that. It's really hard to do with one hand, so I will try to do it with one hand because it might be really helpful, but it is really hard. So there you go. And as you can see, it is able to go in a little bit. I will just have to push it in a little more to hear the little, there it is. And if you heard that little click, that is the retention clip latching onto the GPU. And if you want to make sure that it is connected, you can see if the retention clip is latched in, which it is. No, it isn't. All right, let me install this GPU properly. Okay, I have the GPU inserted into the slot. It's really hard to do this with one hand. So when you're doing this, you just want to listen for a nice and crisp little click as you're pushing it in. And as you can see, the GPU is not sagging like it was before, and it's a lot more tight. If you saw in the last clip, it was like really sagging, and this retention bracket is basically touching the GPU now. So it is in and it's good, and you're ready to move to the next step. And the next step is just to simply get your screws that you took out of the brackets earlier and put them back in. Very simple. And as you can see, I have the screws back in, and I can close this bracket. In case you skipped the installation or uninstallation part of the video, a lot of cases have the brackets accessible from the interior of the computer, but for my case, I have to take this little bracket out first on the rear of the case to be able to access the brackets. So yeah. Now that your GPU is fully secured to your case and to your motherboard, you need to find your PCIe power connectors for your GPU from your PSU, your power supply. So some GPUs might have a 6-pin, which just means it has 6 pins. Some GPUs need 8 pins, and some GPUs need multiple 8 pins. So just make sure that you have all the cables that you need to plug in here, and just go ahead and plug them in. As you can see, there's a little black protuberance here. I keep using that word, but I mean, it's the only word I can come up with. That is the side where you want to put the clip in. So if there's no protuberance here, just turn it around and it should work like that. But in my case, the clip should be up top. So just put that in. I will put that in real quick. And now you have installed your GPU entirely. So it's time to just close up the side panel. So just put it back and screw any screws or just clip any clips or whatever. Just put your side panel back on. And let us connect all of our cables back. So your monitor cable, your keyboard and mouse, everything that you took out earlier, connect them back in and turn this switch to the dash position or eye position, and your motherboard, if it has lights, should start lighting up. And you're basically ready to turn the computer back on. One thing to note is that when you're connecting your monitor, do not connect it to this motherboard up here, to your motherboard up here. You see these DisplayPort and HDMI ports up here? Don't connect it up here. Connect it to your GPU down here. This is a mistake that a lot of beginners make. So unless you know what you're doing, connect it down here. As you can see, I've connected all my cables and we are ready to turn the computer on. So just press the power button like normal. It's beautiful. And wait for the display to turn on. If the display does not turn on, you want to make sure that this power cable is tight and attached well. When you were connecting it, you should have heard a click as you were connecting it. You also want to make sure, you want to check if this your GPU is slotted in tightly and nicely, and you want to make sure that this cable is connected to the GPU and not the motherboard. It also could just be, if you're building a new computer, it could also just be that your GPU or the rest of your computer is just booting up. So just wait maybe 10-20 minutes. Sometimes it might take that long. If it's taking longer than that, then there is probably a problem. The next step is just to install drivers. So open up your browser of choice and look up either NVIDIA GPU drivers or AMD GPU drivers, depending on what GPU I have installed. I have an NVIDIA GPU installed, so I'm going to obviously look up NVIDIA GPU drivers. And obviously if you're using an AMD GPU, then you would search up AMD GPU drivers. So just look over here and simply just download whatever it tells you, follow the steps. I don't think you need hand holding for that. So, I mean, now you're basically done. After you're done installing the drivers, sorry, this mouse, this is my workstation and not my personal computer. So all of the equipment is basically all broken. So just go to your desktop, right click, and if you're on Windows 11, you would need to press show more options and click on NVIDIA control panel or AMD desktop settings or whatever it is. Agree to everything, sign your life away, and just go ahead and hover over help or click on help and go to system information. Wait a little bit and this should pop up and you should see your GPU model here, which I have installed at 4060, and all of these should match up to your GPU specs online. If it doesn't, then you might have been scammed. So, yep, there it is. You have your GPU installed now. What I recommend doing is running a benchmark test or running a couple of games and just checking your GPU's temperature. I recommend either 3D Mark as benchmarking, but that's paid. It's like $30. So if you want a free alternative, you can use OCCT. So just look those up on the internet, test your GPU, and everything should be good. And congratulations, you've upgraded or installed a new GPU.